Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Bucket with Jo. Happy Saturday, everyone. It's Jo of SportsGrid over here on SportsGrid TV. It's time for Pucket with Jo now. I hope you have your coffee, your tea, whatever you're wanting to drink this morning ready and a pen. We've got a loaded slate out there on the ice. So many games to talk about, so many players that we're going to look at for those points, for those goals today. And we've got underdogs. Yes, the underdogs, I do think, have the opportunity of pulling off some wins. So let's get going. Happy Saturday. Oh, Chip, you flatter me. Okay, you guys. Let's do this. Let's jump straight into it because we got way too many games to go over to chit chat here. The Detroit Red Wings taking on the Buffalo Sabres is the first game we're going to look at. Now, all odds are over on FanDuel. Minus 142 here for the Buffalo Sabres at home. Now, the Red Wings coming off that win in a game that I don't know if I expected them to lose because they did get the win. I expected them to not look as good out there because there has been storylines of illness running through that team. They're plus 118 now, and that total sitting at 6.5. When we look at this matchup, like you can expect it here for the Buffalo Sabres, this team has got some rhythm. Finally, they've won their last two games, and they were able to beat the Dallas Stars. That was a fantastic matchup for them on Tuesday, winning that one 4-2. The Red Wings, like I said, they got that win over the New Jersey Devils. Big win, 5-3. They have now won their last three. Now, this is the first night of a back-to-back for this team. They will face the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow, and not that they would look past the Buffalo Sabres in a situation like this, but that is a huge matchup tomorrow. It is at home for them. Now, they're sitting fourth in the Atlantic, and the Sabres are sitting sixth in the Atlantic. So, divisional battle here. They will play each other again next weekend in Detroit. So they have a home-and-home matchup on plate. When we look at a couple of things here, I do think the Sabres will be able to score on the Red Wings. Yes, the New Jersey Devils only put up 3 goals on them, but this team is allowing those shots to come raining in, and Alex Leon expected in net tonight for the Red Wings. Now, he does have a shutout on the season, and he's got a great save percentage. His goals against average is 1.46, but I'm expecting some sort of regression here. We look at the Red Wings, they're allowing an average of 34.4 shots on net. And we have a Buffalo Sabres team who, yes, they started off rough, starting off over in Prague, having those difficulties, but this team is averaging 3 goals per game, just over that 3 goals. Their power play is yet to convert. They need to step it up on the power play. I do think they have the opportunity of getting 4 goals in this. I'm leaning to the over. I'm leaning to the Sabres team total over 3.5. That's coming in at plus 102. 6 of the last 8 meetings between these two have gone to that over. Now, players that I have circled in this one, Tage Thompson for the anytime goal for the Buffalo Sabres. He is vital for this team to get the win. But I also love Rasmus Dahlin here. Defensive player for the Sabres to get those points on the board tonight. His 1+ point is coming in at minus 122. So we are laying juice, but he has 3 points in the last 4 meetings versus the Red Wings. So he is a player who gets up versus this team, and I do think he can get the point tonight. Now, we know this Red Wings team is led by Patrick Kane, Dylan Larkin, Alex DeBrincat, Vladimir Tarasenko, Lucas Raymond. They have so much talent on it. I think the goals are coming on both sides. Give me a 4-3 style game. The Sabres over that 3.5. Hopefully they're the team that gets those 4 goals. Let's move on to the next one. Let's get this going. You're going with the Red Wings on the money line. I don't blame you. The Red Wings have had great current form as of late. Next game on deck, we got to talk about the Minnesota Wild taking on the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, the Wild are rolling in. Kaprizov has been so phenomenally hot for them. They're minus 137 here on the money line. The Flyers coming in at plus 114. Low total in this one, you guys. 5.5 to the under at plus 100. The juice on the over is coming in at minus 122. When I look at the goaltending matchup in this one, it's both of these goaltenders have been strong. Urjan has been strong on the season. He's gone 1-2-1 with a 3.22 goals against average. The save percentage is below 900. Gustafsson has been absolutely standing on his ahead. The defense here only allowing the average of 1.89 goals per game for the Wild, and Gustafsson coming in 4-0-1 with a 1.40 goals against average. So really solid numbers in this battle. This is game 6, though, of a 7-game road trip here for the Minnesota Wild. Can we see tired legs out of them? They got the Pittsburgh Penguins on deck on Tuesday, and then this team returns home. They're sitting second in the Central, and I kind of think they can overlook the Philadelphia Flyers, who are sitting last in the Metro, 8th in the Metro. They've lost their last 6 games. This team absolutely struggling out there. I do think because of that, there is value on the Flyers in this matchup. The road team has won 7 of the last 10 meetings. So we've got that, yes, but the Flyers have won those last 3. Give me the ugly dog here in the Philadelphia Flyers. I do think with what we saw in that last game, that last one, they were getting more presence in front of the net. So with the more presence in front of the net, giving Gustafsson a harder time here, I do think they could pull it out. Now, Michkov coming in for the goal at plus 280 for the Flyers, and Owen Tippett at plus 250. I think both of them have the ability. Now, Kaprizov, like I mentioned, for the Minnesota Wild, has been absolutely lights out. His 2+ points tonight at plus 146, his goal at plus 120. I think if the Flyers are to win this, they have to absolutely lock down on the defensive side. So hard for me to take props on the Wild when I am backing the Flyers to pull off that mystery upset, but I do think it will be a solid way to go. This is the first night of a back-to-back for the Flyers. They need to get on track. They got Montreal on deck tomorrow. Like I said, they've lost their last 6 games, and 2 of those games were back-to-back losses versus the Washington Capitals. And like I said, in that last game versus the Caps, that in front of net presence really did step up. And this is game 6 of 7 on the road for the Wild. Tired legs on the road. Utah is taking on LA. Now, the LA Kings are the favorite at home at minus 154. The Utah Hockey Club at plus 126. And this total, again, another 5.5 at minus 132. I was actually really surprised that we were getting a 5.5 in this one. I expected this to be 6 or a 6.5 in this matchup. We know both of these teams can hit the back of the net. We have the Utah Hockey Club coming in here averaging 2.88 goals per game, 27.3 shots on goal. That power play is clicking okay at 18.3%. Elite face-off, able to control that 55.8% of the time. Defensively, though, allowing these goals to come in, Connor Ingram expected in net for them tonight. Defensively allowing over 3 goals per game, close to 4 at 3.68. Their kills only 78.1%. Connor Ingram 4-1-1 on the season with a 3.82 goals against average and a save percentage of .850. So Darcy Kemper as well in for the Kings here. Not great numbers. 1-0-2 on the season with a 3.59 goals against average and an .890 save percentage. The Kings allowing an average of 3.33 goals per game. What am I missing in this one? Because I expect this one to fly over that total of a 5.5. I expect this to be a 3-4 style game. And 3 of the last 4 meetings have been higher scoring between these two. I do think Utah will be able to create those scoring chances on the LA Kings here. And I don't have faith in Darcy Kemper at this point in the season. Now, we have seen the Kings be able to win the last 4 meetings when this team was the Arizona Coyotes and not the Utah Hockey Club. Will the change in name spark the Utah Hockey Club to be able to get the win here? They're sitting 5th in the Central and 2nd in the Pacific here for the LA Kings. The Kings are off that win versus the San Jose Sharks at home on Thursday. And we do know Utah has lost their last 2 games. Thursday versus the Avs, I was really shocked they weren't able to put up more goals. Maybe this is why the books is giving us 5.5, because they were only able to put up 1 goal versus the Colorado Avalanche, who we know have been struggling on the season defensively. I am going to back Utah in this one and take the over 5.5. I do think Utah has every opportunity. Clayton Keller is so phenomenally strong for them, and I still don't trust the defense here of this team here in the LA Kings. So even though they beat the Sharks 3-2, they still allowed 2 goals by the Sharks. Give me Utah and the over 5.5. The next game, we have the Washington Capitals. Now, let me find current odds for this. The Washington Capitals taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. This one, 7:10 Eastern as well, you guys. The Washington Capitals rolling in here at plus 134, and the Tampa Bay Lightning at minus 162. Those are your money line odds. That total is sitting at 6.5. The 6.5 juice to the under at minus 124. Okay, surprisingly, this Washington Capitals team has been scoring and scoring at rapid speed. Not something I expected out of them this season. They're averaging 4.33 goals per game. Limited shots, so 28.5. That power play isn't clicking. It's only clicking 9.5% of the time. When we look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, this team averaging right on 4 goals per game, 28.6 shots on goal, and they can convert on the power play 20% of the time. Strong kill here for the Washington Capitals, weak kill here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Can the Capitals roll into Tampa and get another win? They've won their last 5. Yes, the Washington Capitals have won their last 5 games, you guys. Something I didn't say. We were going to be able to say the last 2 were against the Philadelphia Flyers, home and home situation, winning both of those. I underestimated this team coming into the season. Now, older team here, can they keep this up? I do think they can keep this up in this one because Andrei Vasilevskiy does not have good numbers versus the Washington Capitals. We look at him on the season, 3-3 on the season with a 3.13 goals against average. That save percentage of .871. When we break him down and look at him versus the Washington Capitals, he's gone 9-10-1 in 20 games with a goals against average of 3.27 and a save percentage of .900. It's not the numbers that I want to back tonight here in this one. I do think Charlie Lindgren has been playing strong on the season. His save percentage is .905. He's got a 2.36 goals against average. It's going to be a tough win here for the Washington Capitals. Absolutely. This offense here, the Tampa Bay Lightning are absolutely fantastic out there on the ice. They're going to be firing at him in this one. The defense of the Capitals needs to absolutely lock down. They have been holding opponents to 26.8. I tell you, they're going to have to really hold the Tampa Bay Lightning to closer to 24 shots on net in this game if they want to get the win. They have won the last 2 meetings, so I'm going to take the Capitals straight up on the money line. Again, current odds on that, plus 134. I got it at plus 128, you guys, so you're getting more value than I am. The over 2.5 goals for the Washington Capitals coming in at minus 124 because I do think they can score on Andrei Vasilevskiy. Now, who is going to score those goals? I'm going to take Ovi for the anytime goal. He's coming in at plus 175. I'm also going to look at Ovechkin for 2+ points in this game. He's coming in at plus 310. He's got 2 goals and 3 assists, so a big step up in this one, but I think he can do it. We know the Tampa Bay Lightning are allowing an average of 3.43 goals per game. Yes, they're limiting opponents to 26 shots on net, but I do think Ovi will find a way. He has always hit Andrei Vasilevskiy hard, and I think this is one of those matchups where Ovi gets the best of Vasilevskiy. So you can also look at Dylan Strome here for the point. His point coming in at minus 138. He's got 3 goals and 6 assists on the season. Andrew Mangiapane has 2 goals and 1 assist, and John Carlson 2 goals and 4 assists. So I would look at Dylan Strome. He's on that top line with Ovechkin. The other side, Braden Point, Jake Gunsel, Kucherov. You know this team is loaded. It is dangerous to go against them. The Caps are looking so freaking good. Kucherov for the anytime goal. I think Kucherov can get the anytime goal. The money line and the team total over 3.5. I completely understand where you're going with this one. This will come down to goaltending. If Charlie Lindgren can have a better day than Andrei Vasilevskiy. Okay. We're moving fast, you guys. 7 o'clock still. We got the Anaheim Ducks. The Ducks are in action. They're plus 240 underdogs versus the New York Rangers. The Rangers coming off that loss, disappointing loss versus the Florida Panthers. You know they're going to be rocking in the Garden tonight. They're minus 300 on the money line. You know there's no way we can touch that. That looks like a parlay wrecker. But I do think they are the better team in this matchup and should be able to get the win. When we look at the puck line, plus 1.5 for the Anaheim Ducks at minus 106. We've got minus 1.5 on the puck line for the New York Rangers at minus 113. Total 6.5. Now the 6.5 juice to that under because I don't think the books are expecting the Ducks to be able to score a lot in this one. We know this goaltending matchup here for the New York Rangers, probably one of the best in the whole league, with Igor Shesterkin and Jonathan Quick. Now, Jonathan Quick expected in goal tonight. He gave me panic when he was with the LA Kings, but I am looking for a solid performance out of the defense in front of him and for the Rangers to be able to get things done. On the season, he has a .935 save percentage and a 2.03 goals against average. So look for Jonathan Quick to really stand out. Surprisingly, though, the success that the Ducks have seen is because Dostal has been phenomenal to start the season. He's due for regression, but will it happen in this one versus the New York Rangers? I'm thinking so. This New York Rangers team is probably one of the most complete teams in the whole league. They're averaging 4.5 goals per game, 33.6 shots on goal. That power play is converting at 26.1%, and they're dominating those faceoffs 54.5% of the time. Defense has been stepping up. Their PK, their kill coming in at 87.5%. So I don't think the Ducks have a chance in this game. You know, I love a dog. This is not a dog that I want to touch. They're not quacking, in my opinion, tonight. When we look at the Rangers, they're off a loss to the Florida Panthers, 3-1. They'd won their 4 games prior. There's no look ahead. They have the Caps on the road on Tuesday. They're home Friday versus the Senators. This is a Saturday game. I'm not worried about them looking ahead to a Washington Capitals team that has been getting the win. They're sitting first in the Metro here, 5-1-1 on the season. Give me the New York Rangers on the puck line in the first period. You guys know I'm always looking for that plus money. Look for them to hit Dostal quick and then try to protect that lead, laying the half a goal at plus 110. Now, they did send Rempe down to the AHL, which I wanted to boycott the Rangers for doing so. I love Rempe and what he brought to this team. Remember, he's the scrapper last year at the outdoor game between the Islanders. He got out, made his debut by dropping his gloves and picking a fight. And he's been in so many fights, big enforcer kid out there. But I am kind of sad that he got sent down. Now, we look at Panarin. He leads this team with 14 points in 7 games. Adam Fox has been strong on defense. We got Trocheck here as well. These players are playing so elite. You can look at the Ducks team total under 2.5 goals. That's coming in at -140. Troy Terry has been leading this team. He has 5 points in 6 games. Leo Carlson, Ryan Strome, and Matt Tavish have been strong as well. So it's the Rangers all the way. You think the Ducks have a chance? Okay. I think, every game out here, the underdog always has a chance. This is hockey. Weird things happen out there on the ice. Puck luck happens. If Dostal can absolutely stand on his head, yes, you're right. The Ducks absolutely have a chance. I'm going to go with the Rangers in the first period on the puck line. The full game puck line laying a half a goal or 1.5 goals is coming in at -113. The juice is ticking up on that. So if you like it, grab it now. I'm going to take the first period for the Rangers to come out with a vengeance. The Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Boston Bruins. This has the makings of the best game out there on the ice tonight, you guys. Original 6 teams here that hate each other. Let's not sugarcoat it. They don't like each other at all. 5th in the Atlantic here for the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, and 7th in the Atlantic for the Boston Bruins. We have the Toronto Maple Leafs off that loss to the St. Louis Blues, starting Joseph Woll. You look at that matchup, and Woll was just pebbled with shots from the St. Louis Blues. The Blues are able to put 5 in the back of the net, and Toronto struggled to score in that one, only lighting the lamp once, with the Boston Bruins giving the start here to Swayman. Now, they've lost their last 3. Thursday was to the Dallas Stars. That was a 5-2 loss. Both of these teams, their coaches have come out and belittled basically their players out there. They've ripped them a new one in the public eye as well. So I'm looking for both of these teams to come out. They desperately both need the win. I do think this is a competitive back and forth physical game out there on the ice. I'm going to take this one to go to overtime. Overtime bet in this is coming in at +350. 3-2 game either way. Let me know if you think the Boston Bruins can pull off the win on their home ice, or if Toronto can roll into Boston and get the win. We know the Bruins have been one of those teams that I really, as a Toronto fan, hate to play. I'm not a Toronto fan, but I would hate to play the Boston Bruins just with how physical this team is on them. And we know Toronto brings that physicality as well. I'm going to look at the first period under 1.5 goals. I do think defense and goaltending has to shine to start this game. Neither team wants to get down, and I think they will play more cautious. The first period under 1.5 goals coming in at -106. You know, we've got playmakers, we've got stars on both sides. You can look at those player props, but I love this one to go to overtime. The draw coming in here, +350 for this one. Okay. Next game, the Winnipeg Jets taking on my Calgary Flames. The Winnipeg Jets undefeated on the season, the only team, you guys, that can say so. Can Calgary pull off the upset? They're coming in at +122 at home. The Winnipeg Jets at -146. I actually was shocked that this line wasn't higher. More juice on the Winnipeg Jets. We got the total of 5.5. -140 to the over 5.5. And again, I was shocked that we didn't get a higher total. Yes, Connor Hellebuyck has been absolutely lights out on the season, but Calgary has been overachieving expectations. They've been able to light the lamp. Now they are off that loss versus the Carolina Hurricanes. They lost that one 4-2. Like I said, Winnipeg yet to take the L. They won their last game in OT versus Seattle. They're home versus the Leafs on Monday. Are they looking ahead towards the Toronto Maple Leafs? It's not a divisional matchup, so I don't think so. They just want to continue to get these wins. They're sitting first in the Central. And Calgary, again, screenshot at Calgary Flames fans and use it as bragging rights. Just pretend it's the end of the season, sitting first in the Pacific. This is not something I think Calgary can sustain, but I love to see where they're sitting. And Dustin Wolf has been fantastic in net for Calgary. He's 3-0 on the season with a 2.30 goals against average, a .936 save percentage. I wanted to take his save shot on goal prop tonight. It's not listed yet on FanDuel, so I'm thinking confirmation isn't 100%. Connor Hellebuyck, we are getting a number for Connor Hellebuyck as he sits 6-0 on the season with a 1.66 goals against average and a .940 save percentage. His number, 28 plus save shots on goal, is -105. I would look at that. I do think Calgary will be able to bring these shots. The Winnipeg Jets, they are still allowing defensively these shots to come in. It's been the hot goaltender in Connor Hellebuyck that has made them so successful this season because they're allowing 29.7 shots on goal. Yes, they have an elite kill 83.3% of the time. They're strong face-off. They got the best power play. This is going to be an absolute battle for Calgary tonight, but I would look at a couple of things. I don't want to take a side. I really don't. Could I see Calgary pulling it off? Yes, they need to stay out of the box because if they give the Winnipeg Jets those opportunities on the power play, it is not going to be pretty. So I'm going to look at power play points. I'm going to look at parlaying a couple players for points from Calgary. And I'm just going to stay with that, you guys, and the goalie props. Take Dustin Wolf, whatever number you get, to his over. Take Connor Hellebuyck, 28 plus save shots on goal. I expect those shots to be flying in this game. Give me Kyle Connor. He's on the top power play for a power play point tonight for the Winnipeg Jets. And Mark Scheifele on the top power play for the power play point. I would take both of those from Winnipeg. For Calgary, a little bit different here. I'm not hitting on those power play points. I'm going to look at the player points because the player points are juiced tonight for the Calgary Flames for Kuzmenko and Kadri. I'm going to parlay them together. So separately, Kuzmenko coming in for his point at -140 and Kadri for his point at -188. When you parlay them both together, they are on that top line with Popsasa. They're coming in at +112. So that's Kuzmenko for a point and Kadri for a point at +112. I do like both of their abilities to get those points tonight. Let's hope you are right, Kev. I have a little bit of bias towards the Flames, so I don't want to tell you guys just take the Flames straight up on the money line. You know, I'm going to sprinkle that there today. Yeah, the Jets are so strong. It's hard to go against the Jets. Yeah, no side in that one. Let's just get the overtime. Let's get the overtime bet between those original six. The St. Louis Blues rolling in off that fantastic win versus the Maple Leafs now are in Montreal to take on the Canadiens. The Montreal Canadiens coming in at +100, -120 here for the St. Louis Blues. This total, again, another 5.5, -138 to the over and +112 to the under. I can't see this one going under that total. I do think it goes over 5.5. Yes. Good goaltending here between Binghamton and Sam Montague. We've seen Sam Montague really start that season off hot. His numbers aren't the best in the last couple. Binghamton, though, when we look at him versus Montreal, I haven't loved his numbers. Binghamton versus Montreal has gone 2-3 in his 5 career games versus him with a 3.85 goals against average and an 872 save percentage. I'm expecting Montreal to be able to score. So I tried to look at Montreal's team total. I couldn't get value on the over 2.5. It was too highly juiced. I'm going to take Montreal. I'm going to sprinkle on them for the win here on the money line at home, plus 100. It was minus 102, so you're getting a little bit more value. I'm going to look at Caulfield to come out nice and strong, get that goal at plus 140 and 2+ points out of Caulfield coming in at plus 260. We know he drives this team. Jake Neighbors has been cashing for us, though, for the St. Louis Blues. And remember, Robert Thomas is out of this lineup. It didn't affect them in that last game. Might affect them a little bit more in this one. Both of these teams have been allowing those goals to roll in. So I do think nice game to that over. Jake Neighbors, we got him for the goal last game. His shots on goal, 3+ shots on goal tonight, coming in at plus 138. I do like in this matchup because we look at Montreal, they're allowing those shots to fly in. They're allowing an average of 35 shots on net per night. Sam Montague has to do his thing and stand on his head, and then they can get the win. Okay, the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers taking on the New York Islanders, you guys. The Islanders on the second night of a back-to-back. They were able to cash us that money last night. The stupid Senators letting that one go versus Vegas. I tell you, I was frustrated with that. But the Islanders did get things done. They're coming in at plus 105. With the Florida Panthers on FanDuel currently at minus 126 and a total of 6.5. Now the juice is to the under 6.5. Valimov is confirmed here for the Islanders and Bobrovsky for the Florida Panthers. Now he's got solid numbers versus the Islanders in his career, 2.12 goals against average and a 931 save percentage. Varlamov in 16 games versus the Panthers, solid numbers as well. 2.67 goals against average and a 920 save percentage. Both of these teams have had success in different areas. We look at the Florida Panthers. They're off the win versus New York Rangers. They got up fast, protected their lead. Game 2 on the road. They've got the Sabres on Monday. So no look-ahead situation. They're averaging right on 3 goals per game. That power play isn't converting at a high enough percentage that I would love. 17.4. They're also still without Barkov. Lower body injury to Barkov in here, which does take a hit to their offense. Their kill coming in at 88%. When we look at the Islanders' lower scoring team here, they're off the overtime win versus the New Jersey Devils. Tired legs do come into play, but this Islanders team absolutely needs to keep rolling hot. We know what happened in their last 6 games. They were absolutely struggling out there. I expect them to come out hot in this game and to be able to roll with the momentum of last night's win. They were plus 118 an hour ago. You guys, money is coming in on the Islanders because they're plus 105 right now on FanDuel, but I do like them to be able to pull it off. We saw Bo Horvat get the overtime goal last night. I would look at him to come out strong as soon as he gets out on the ice tonight. Now, Anthony Dunclair is still out of this lineup, but I still think they can get it done. Home ice between these two have won 5 of the last 6, with the Islanders winning 3 of the last 4. Sign me up for the Islanders all day long. Let's get that money with Montreal. Okay, Columbus taking on the Predators. Another overtime game, I think, you guys. The Columbus Blue Jackets, let me just find odds here for you, are plus 195. The Nashville Predators minus 245. Too big of a favorite here. I am shaking my head at why. They don't deserve to be this big of a favorite. This total 6.5 minus 124 to the over, plus 102 to the under. I think the value is all on Columbus here. Columbus plus the 1.5. I'm going to hit on it minus 122. I'm going to sprinkle on that money line at plus 195. This team is rested and ready. They're off the win versus the Toronto Maple Leafs on Tuesday. That was a 6-2 win. at home. Now, Elvis expected in goal tonight for them, and Scott Wedgwood expected here for the Nashville Predators. Wedgwood is 0-1 on the season with a 4.21 goals against average and an 800 save percentage, and you want me to pay 2-1 to back the Nashville Predators here? They've got the Lightning on deck on Monday as well. This team sitting 8th in the Central. Second night of a back-to-back, have won their last 3. I'm not buying in to the Preds in this one. Give me the rested and ready team with the Columbus Blue Jackets in an overtime style game at plus 390, you guys. Very tired legs for the Predators. Okay, the Dallas Stars taking on the Chicago Blackhawks. Dallas is almost a $4 favorite. They're minus 375 currently on FanDuel and plus 290 here. For the Chicago Blackhawks, total of 5.5. The juice to that over is minus 140. At the end of the day, the Dallas Stars could go over that total themselves. Okay, we have a goalie coming in here, Kosmesko, for the Chicago Blackhawks. He looks to be the future for this team, but this will be his NHL debut. And we know that goes one way or another. Either these goaltenders come out and their nerves get them standing completely on their head and they get a shutout win, or they just allow one goal on like 36 shots on net, or it goes the exact opposite way. And this is a dangerous team for him to be making his NHL debut against, because the Dallas Stars is so phenomenally strong on offense. Their power play converting at right around 20%. Their defense is completely shutting teams out. They've got the best kill in the league at 92.3, and Jake Ottinger has been absolutely fantastic. So I can't get behind Chicago in this one. Chicago is off that game versus the Predators last night, where they got up. They got up in the first period, and I expected the Preds to be the team to get up. Chicago got up in the first period, but they let that game slip away, losing that one 3-2. They've played the Stars hard in the past, but I just don't see it happening. They won the last meeting, but I think the Stars won, 4 of the last 5 or something like that. The Chicago Blackhawks don't put up a lot of goals. So they're averaging 2.5 goals per game. When we look at them versus the Stars, they've only had 1 goal versus the Stars in 2 of the 3 last 3 meetings. So their team total under 2.5, you can't even bet it. It's almost 2-1, minus 192. If you can get alt numbers, which FanDuel isn't giving me this morning, under 1.5 goals for the Chicago Blackhawks, yes, it's scary, but you're going to get great plus money on that. I think the Dallas Stars win this, probably 4-1, 5-1. So depending on those empty netters will depend on if we go over that total, because I just don't believe in Chicago to do their share to get us over 5.5. I'm going to circle Wyatt Johnson for the anytime goal for the Dallas Stars. And then I'm going to look at the Dallas Stars to start off hot in the first period. They're off the win versus the Boston Bruins 5-2 on the road. The Panthers are on deck Friday, Saturday. So if this was like a Tuesday or a Wednesday game, I could see a little bit of a look ahead here to back-to-back home and home games versus the Florida Panthers Friday and Saturday. But with this being this Saturday, I'm going to count on the Stars to get this game under control in the first period. Dallas Stars in the first period on the puck line, laying half a goal at minus 102. They are starting to develop chemistry out there. Yeah, I don't hate the 1.5 on the puck line as well. And you're leaning to the over. I would expect the Stars have to come out and put up the majority of those goals. The San Jose Sharks taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. You guys know I love underdogs, but this underdog stinks. Plus 280 here for the San Jose Sharks and minus 360 for the Vegas Golden Knights. Total of 6.5, minus 134 to the under 6.5. I do think the Sharks can do their share of the scoring in this game. They've lost their last 8, but they've been able to put up some goals and they've been competitive in some of these games. So I'm not completely ruling them out. And yes, they stink at getting the win, but they don't completely suck at getting those goals. And yes, while their goals on average is below 2 in some of these games, they really do light the lamp. And Tyler Toffoli has been one of the catalysts for them scoring those goals. I'm going to take Tyler Toffoli at plus 240 for the anytime goal. Granlund, you can look at as well, plus 380. And the Sharks team total over 2.5 goals. I do expect them to find the back of the net 3 times lighting that lamp at plus 132. Samsonov expected here in Blackwood for the Sharks. When we look here at angles for Vegas, who I do think can come out nice and strong, because I am riding the over 6.5. We know Jack Eichel and Mark Stone have been phenomenally strong. Storyline, though, Thomas Hertl versus his former team. Can he come out here and score on Blackwood? He knows Blackwood just as good as anyone on the Sharks team does and where his weaknesses are. Give me Thomas Hertl here for the Vegas Golden Knights for the anytime goal. This is a team that drafted him, remember, in the Sharks. So plus 220 for that anytime goal. Shea Theodore, he got paid the other week or just last week here, and I do expect him to come out nice and strong in this one. And Vegas has won and covered the puck line in 3 of the last 4 meetings versus the Sharks. So if you want to look at that puck line, this is a battle of the Pacific. You know Vegas wants to get a dominating win in it. They're sitting 3rd, and the Sharks are sitting 8th. Okay. We have 2 more games to go over, you guys. If you made it this far, thank you so much for joining me. We're going to go over these 2 games. Do me a favor, hit that like, hit that retweet button so this show can continue to go every single day over here on SportsGrid TV. And if you haven't downloaded the SportsGrid app yet, make sure you go over and do so. My college football Madden quickies are up there, and I can hardly wait to turn on college football. I am jonesing for it right now, you guys. So the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Vancouver Canucks is the next game. We got the Penguins at plus 160, the Vancouver Canucks at minus 194. Total 6.5, minus 114 to the over, minus 106 to the under. The Pittsburgh Penguins have lost their last 4. This has been a disastrous road trip so far. 3 of those 4 losses have been on this road trip. This is their 4th game here on the road versus Vancouver. Bloomquist was in goal last night, and they're still listing him as expected. I'm not expecting him. He did phenomenal, actually, even though they lost 4-0. He faced, 45 shots from the Edmonton Oilers. So his defense, the Pittsburgh Penguins need to step up in front of their goaltending. They're allowing an average of 35.1 shots on goal per game. That cannot happen. Sid has to come to play for this team to be able to keep this tight with Vancouver tonight. If Sidney Crosby can get on that scoreboard, if Sidney Crosby can be a difference maker, this team has the ability of getting the win. Crosby has 5 points in the last 7 meetings and 6 goals in the last 7 meetings versus the Vancouver Canucks. I'm going to take Sidney Crosby for that anytime goal. The top of my head, I believe that was coming in right around plus 160. I do think this game has every opportunity, again, of going to overtime. This being a 3-3 style game going to OT, it's coming in at plus 400 for an overtime bet. The last 3 games between these two have been 4-3 wins, with the Pittsburgh Penguins winning 2 of those. So can they roll in here on the second night of a back-to-back after being shut out versus Edmonton last night and get the win? It's a lot to ask, but here's the thing. The Vancouver Canucks are returning home from a 4-game road trip. They're the Carolina Hurricanes on deck on Monday, the New Jersey Devils on Wednesday. Yes, they're sitting 5th in the Pacific, but fading teams off road trips is one of my favorite situational spots to go in hockey. It's hard for these teams to come home off of road trips and get their head back in the game in that first one, and taking on a desperate opponent like the Pittsburgh Penguins, who have lost their last 4, looking to get a win before they head back home, I do think is a nice situation to look. Now, the Vancouver Canucks won those last 3. Their last win on the road was versus the Chicago Blackhawks, 6-3. They allowed 3 goals out of the Chicago Blackhawks. And if they allow the Chicago Blackhawks to score 3, I do think the Pittsburgh Penguins can come out and score enough. So give me the Penguins plus 1.5 on the puck line. Problem is that's got to be more of a parlay piece because it's minus 154. I think 3-4 style game. I love the overtime bet here. You know, JT Miller, Brock Besner, Garland, Quinn Hughes, they're all going to be bringing it here for the Vancouver Canucks. So it's going to be an absolute battle on the ice. I think overtime is the way to go. Yeah. SportsGrid's been on Ruco TV for about a year and a half, actually, as long as I have been with SportsGrid. They've been on Ruco TV. I'm glad you found it over there. I'm on there all afternoon. So from 3:30 Eastern all the way to 7 Eastern. So make sure you join myself and Scott Wetzel. College football all day, I'm sure. MLB playoffs as well. The Dodgers versus the Yankees. What a great game last night. Okay, focus, you guys. Let's focus. The Carolina Hurricanes taking on the Seattle Kraken. Last game, 10 p.m. Eastern. The Carolina Hurricanes rolling in at -178. The Seattle Kraken at +146. Another 5.5, -134 to the over in this one. I'm going to look for this first period to stay under 1.5 goals. That's coming in at -112. Frederik Andersen expected here for the Carolina Hurricanes and Philip Grubauer for the Seattle Kraken. I'm expecting defenses to lead the way, especially in this first period. I don't love the 5.5 taking it to the under because the Carolina Hurricanes have been strong. And if Grubauer has an off night, they could go over that total easily on their own, because we do know the Seattle Kraken allowing 3 goals per game, and we have seen 34.3 shots on net each and every game, well, on average out of the Carolina Hurricanes, and averaging 3.17. So first period to the under. I expect goaltending and defenses to start this one. We know the Carolina Hurricanes are allowing an average of 2.5 goals per game and 26.8 shots on goal. Their kill is fantastic at 83.3. Power play is not strong here for Seattle. Either is their kill. So stay out of the box, Seattle, and you have a chance to keep it tight, but I don't know. I could still see Carolina covering that puck line. The under 5.5, I would lean towards if you really want to take an under in the full game at +110. I do think we could see the empty netter, though, come into play. So the first period, getting that one under 1.5 goals is what I like best. Now, the puck does not drop till 1:09 Eastern, you guys, between the Red Wings and the Sabres. So hopefully you guys get all of these bets in. Let me know what your favorite bet is of the day, your favorite goal scorer of the day, and let's make some freaking money out there on the ice. If you're building a hockey parlay, I want to hear all about it as well. We got plenty of opportunities, I do think, for points for these players, for power play points for these players, to make fantastic parlays. So let me know where you're going. You guys, again, SportsGrid TV. We are here live every day at noon, talking all games on the NHL slate. I'm live over on the grid. If you don't know where to tune in, go to www.sportsgrid.com/watch. For all the places we are live, 3:30 to 7 o'clock Eastern, I'm live with Scott Wetzel, talking about all of today's college football games. We'll be live betting these games in-game live. And then head on over to the app. Get my Madden Quickie. Games are underway out there. You guys, I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. You're taking the Canes -1.5 and Seth Jarvis. You got to love Seth Jarvis for that anytime goal. I wish you guys all the best in all of your bets. Thanks again. Bye, guys.